Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Thank you. Now enjoy the show.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of RAERAEs Review, where me and my homegirl Erin gonna let you know about the What's Going Down episode of The Real Housewives of Orange County. This is season 19, episode 12. Everybody, please welcome Erin to the stage.
Happy Saturday, everybody. What did we think of the episode? Thank you for having me.
Oh, yes. I thought it was explosive. I mean, old truths came to the surface. You know how it is when two old hags get to hagging.
Yeah,
I
well,
know it because it's inevitable. They have this hate towards each other, and the things that listen, look, y'all, we've been watching since season 1, and we're talking about 20 years of tea that is being exposed that people may have forgotten about, because when you lie, you sometimes forget you lied. Now, Gretchen, you my girl now. But things have come to the surface. Oh, I forgot. Hold on. Welcome, aunties and unks and everybody else. We already started getting into it, child. We were supposed to start at 11, just real quick, but we decided to start a little earlier. I got the time wrong, my bad. So we're going to start a little earlier. So some of y'all may join in towards us discussing this episode, but that's okay because we have the replay. Replay gang. Just go ahead and rewind a little bit and you'll be caught up. Otherwise, thanks again for tuning in. Okay.
yeah, thank you. Yeah, and you know us. We ramble, so especially me. So missing 15 minutes is, you could catch it on that's just getting business and dusting ourselves off.
Okay. And just know you get a little more than just an hour. Okay.
Yep.
So that's how I felt about it. How'd you feel about it?
Well, I think it's two hags for sure, but I think you got to throw a slag, aka a Slade, in the mix.
Ooh,
Because
the third one.
the third hag, truly, because he's a bitchy. He like when Nene said to Peter, "Don't be a bitch," that she could have said
Okay.
Slade. She could have said Slade, because I think that the way that he feels about her absolutely fuels Gretchen's fire, and I thought this was really funny because of the way that Gretchen wanted to get out of having fallen into this mess,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's definitely they brought up some old junk.
Girl, listen,
Bass Lake.
girl.
I know what you did at Bass Lake.
Okay.
No, not I know what. Did she say I know what you did at Bass Lake, or what were you doing at Bass Lake? Something like that. Bass Lake.
Mm. Well, let's just get into it, y'all,
Yeah.
because Okay, so you know how you guys, when they do the 6 months earlier, 3 months earlier, so they gave us a little something towards the end of the episode where they're going off on each other, of course, because they're exposing stuff, and Tamara finds out what all of the grease that has been that came out about.
Wait, 98 degrees.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's why I had to interrupt you. Because allegedly, aunties and unks, allegedly it's first we thought it might be Nick Lachey, but I think it's the dude named Phil, whatever. It's one of the 98 degrees guys, but not not the
not the
hot one.
Backstreet. Okay, remind me, which group was Nick in?
98 Degrees.
98. Okay. And who was the star of the Backstreet?
That was more like Nick, Nick Carter.
Carter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Aaron Carter, tragically his little brother died,
Yeah, the Carters. Yeah.
Yeah. I forget. I liked NSYNC more than I liked the Backstreet Boys.
I like
There's
New Kids on the Block. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, New Kids on the Block was the prototype.
They started it off,
They did. They sure did.
It was like New Edition and then New Kids on the Block.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So,
100.
And then they
Anyway.
wait to come back do anything. AARP.
Hey, they are like, listen, we are going to get what we need to get out of this, and good for them.
Anyway.
So 98 Degrees.
Yeah, it was a whole lot of 98 Degrees coming out over there, in Hollywood, and so. And then they did just a real cute little, here go a little something for y'all to chew on until we get there. So we have a few little small, cute little scenes. Of course, we need some cuteness to go along with this ugliness that's about to come through. Because, child, I really like the balance. Remember how I keep saying we need to see a balance. We need to see good, cute, fun, wholesome, sort of, family fun. Just have something light and airy to joke about. I like that about Orange County. Now, they do give us, like I said, some mess, but this one was a little disturbing. Shannon gets a call from her daughter, Sophie, the one who got dumped by the dude.
Yeah.
And then she came out to see everybody. Then everybody, all of the cast, gave their breakup stories, which was really nice. I thought that was really cute. But she's hanging out with her homie, with her homeboy, and Shannon is grateful that he's there, lives in her building and whatnot. But he brings up, we got some drink and we got some Magnums to help her get through this. Now, I don't know how I feel about that being Shannon.
Yeah. Well, they did that to get her to react,
No. I don't know. It rubbed me the wrong way, and I'm over here being auntie, okay? Now we all know aunties is fun, and aunties, we know how to get it cracking. We ease the pain from the parents. But it just made me feel a little, awkward. Like, wait a minute.
It weirded you out. Okay.
It did. I don't know.
That's funny. I mean, like, I don't, yeah. I mean, yeah. No, I just thought it was, they were trying to make they were trying to get mom kind of thing. I don't know how close. I'm assuming that's the gay bestie. I don't know. What?
I said, oh, I didn't catch up on that. Okay.
That's my assumption. Because maybe it's me being whatever, but like I would think that
could be hell.
Especially with Shannon saying, I was so glad you were there. It's kind of like it's giving me gay bestie vibes. Okay. Like, oh, don't worry, I got your girl. And so then I kind of took it as like them trying to make like, an overly cheeky joke to weird Shannon out because she has her notorious. That's just the way I read it. Now, I agree with you. If it's some male friend that she's like, what, I don't know. The whole thing is whatever. It's sticky, borderline sus regardless. But that's kind of just the way I read it. Where's the intention of the scene? Like,
well, word to the wise. Let's not bring up Magnum to your homegirl's mom.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I don't
especially care how not a dad, child. Oh, Lord Jesus.
Wild-eyed David Bedore.
Look, gay or not, you may have a problem.
Yeah, that man's unhinged.
Okay, so then we got Gina, and was that her sister wife over there helping to color her son's hair blonde?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, so sister wife, if you've been under a rock, that is her ex-husband's current wife. They are BFFs to a certain extent. That's why I say they're sister wives. And they're both blonding out her son's hair. It came out pretty good. I said, oh, okay, that's real nice looking. Okay. I mean, I wouldn't have colored my, was he 8, little kid's hair like that. But that's me. I mean, the most out of the ordinary look was a mohawk that my kid wore pretty much all his life. After I cut it and he liked it, and school pictures after school picture after school picture, he kind of grew it, and he kind of kept it over the years. But now he's, his hair is a little different now, but for the most part, he still shaves the sides and keep, anyway. So I can understand, but I don't know. Look at me sounding, just giving all these critiques about their parenting. Okay. I don't know. He's like 8 with blonde hair getting dyed and stuff. Is that like the norm, or I don't know? Is it just me, or what? Am I freaking out?
I feel like we are, in the generation where like that our parents would never have allowed that. We probably didn't see it as much in like with our parenting, but I think as they get younger, they're doing it more often. So I think that may be why you're like, ooh, that's a little young to like bleach out some hair, but like it also lets them do colors and be wild, whatever. I kind of feel like with boys, because you can just shave it off real quick, give them a buzz, and start fresh. The only hesitation I guess I would have is maybe just putting bleach on a kid's head, but at least it's not a nose piercing.
Girl, please don't get me started. That's probably next season. But not with him, just with somebody else kid, just just whatever. Yeah. But anyway, then we see, this is funny. Me and my girl Heather, that's my girl, y'all. That's my girl. She calls her daughter like Cat. Her daughter named Cat. Is that who that was?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cat has a cat. And
oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Heather's grand cat. Listen, I'm cool with animals, but I refuse to be kin to my relative's cat. My stepmother tried to get me to say call their dogs my brother, and I said, wait a minute now. We are 2 different species. I'm cool with these dogs, but I am not their sister. Anyway, it was funny because Heather's grand cat was pretty much, Heather was rejected by the grand cat. Heather was trying to say hi. The grand cat was looking like, I don't know you. Do I know you?
She felt the cat felt the way you did. We're not the same species. Not my grandma.
See?
Yeah.
Do you know anybody who does that is really my question.
My mom will sometimes refer to the dog to me, like go to mommy, and I'm just like, no. You know what I mean? Like, but I think it's more, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, not that it's around, but it's not necessarily one that I would choose.
Oh, okay.
But
well, here's my last dig on parenting. Emily and her daughter, Emily's daughter got a little fresh mouth, but I'm not surprised. Was she 12? That's the one who was doing the modeling, outgoing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Coming into her young ladiness. I love her hair. Oh, I've always adored little girls who wear their hair like that, just long and kind of not all over the place, but just
fluffy.
Free. I'm sorry?
Fluffy.
Yes, fluffy. And it's just so cute to see little girls with their hair. Anyway, but yeah, she got a little fresh mouth, talking about her mama being a hooker. Well, actually, Emily brought up after they're painting nails, talking about, hooker red. And then that started the whole thing of me clutching my pearls, child. I'm like, what? What is going on? What is going on here in this conversation. Then the girl kind of, calls Emily out for saying, some things that may have went on before her and her dad. It kind of indicating that Emily was outside. See, here we go. You give them an inch and they take a mile. I'm trying to tell y'all. Anyway, go ahead, girl. I ain't gonna say.
No, it's hilarious. Modern parenting is getting to you. You know what the interpretation I got from that little moment was when Emily made the face, like, when she said something about what'd you do before you met my dad. I was like, it must have been dry as a bone because she settled on your dad. And she's making faces. I was like, whatever. I'm like, you don't end up married to a guy like Shane if you got a hop and pop in love life. No offense. It's just the chemistry between the two of them and the fact that he proposed and they eloped over Google Chat. Like, listen. So anyway, that's what I thought was funny about that. I'm like, whatever, Emily. I don't think you were hanging from too many chandeliers. But you want to make it look that way.
Well, again, that's why I don't really like talking about kids on this show, but that's why I'm talking about the parenting. It's the parenting for me. But
yeah, it's to me it was the funny anyway. Yeah, to me it was like, well, I mean, maybe she had a whole phase and then got burned out and settled on Shane. I don't know, but anyway, I just thought that was the part I focused on. Just that's why you got the two of us, folks. You have two different perspectives.
Yes, exactly.
She's clutching her pearls and I'm rolling my eyes. You weren't a hoe. Get out of here. You didn't have a heyday. Whatever. No, anyway. Not that Emily's not a beautiful woman. I just,
Yeah, girl. So now we got Jen and Ryan. They're stressing over the wedding. Jen wants to make sure it's way different from before. And Ryan was like, listen, stop him and hawing about this wedding. Either we're going to do it in daytime, we're going to do it at night. We only do this, we only do that. So I thought it was real nice to see them, going over wedding details and everything. I just hope they don't get married in beachwear. Just put on something. Put on some clothes, y'all. That's all I'm gonna say.
They're gonna get married in beachwear. Like, it. Like, remember when that DP thing came out and he posed on his Instagram like naked as hell? Oh, that man is Huntington Beach tacky. And if you live in Southern California, you know what I am talking about. Talk about a boy band, but like the way he dresses. Listen, Ryan is so cheeseme. You know what I mean? But that being said, what I will say is I feel like they have a genuine dynamic between the two of them.
Yeah.
Like, I believe that they're friends. I believe they like hanging out together. I believe they enjoy each other's company. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
And so that part I will give them. I respect the fact that Ryan wants to show America, because he's enjoying being on TV, that he's gonna be an upstanding dude to Jen and the kids. I will see. But stop running to get married. You barely got out of the mess you were in, getting evicted and all of that. It doesn't even seem like any of your kids are quite ready for this. And I realize that Ryan took y'all in, you've become a family, but I just feel like there's no need to rush this wedding. Do it next season or the season after. Like, seriously, you know what I mean? Like, just chill out for a second and be married. Be living together.
Just live in sin, y'all.
Yeah. Well, just let it settle down. Because it just feels like, it's a prove a point wedding.
Well, I think later on in the episode, she talks about this with her daughter, and she's, enjoying this because this is what she likes out of life. She likes partnership.
Yeah, I just think, yes, but I think that they are feeling the pressure that everyone looks at a marriage license as legitimacy and as like a certain level of respectability, when I just feel like it's like how everybody was telling Teresa, get a prenup. Like sometimes you can slow down. Like you already cheated to get out of your marriage, and why don't you just live together, let the kids wrap their minds around the fact that their mom and dad aren't together anymore, let Ryan continue to build that relationship. I just feel like I don't even necessarily feel like Jen's exactly ready for the wedding. I think Ryan really wants it.
Who was that recently that said, oh, do you watch Miami, Real Housewives of Miami?
I do.
Remember when Lisa's boyfriend told her, before I put the ring on your finger, I want you to pretty much grow up and
Yeah.
and be a little more self-sufficient, because I need to see that in you versus you being in another relationship and having that dependency, that codependency. So I think perhaps that may be similar
Mm-hmm.
situation, but perhaps all of this is subjective. People think that certain ways and certain cultures are the way to go, and perhaps like when she described with her daughter, she loves partnership. So the fact that she wants to be with him and she feels like marrying him legitimizes that relationship. She's lived, some people say, why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? All these different anecdotes and sayings and whatnot, because people have different viewpoints on living situations. So for me, I chalked it up as Jen wants what she had, but just in a different way. And since she's already living with the man, doing all these things with the man, might as well just go ahead and get married, and in her belief, make it official.
Yeah, I agree with you, but she's also said in confessionals she's also feels like it's fast. She has talked about feeling nervous
Yeah.
about it. So I think Ryan is pushing hard because he does want that respectability quotient on it. And
Mhm.
I think it's for the wrong reasons personally. Like I said,
Really?
I just think that once you've already broken up a marriage because you cheated, you might as well like get off the we're gonna look real cute in church, like get out of here. Like I just don't think there's I think it's the wrong reasons to rush this, but
Mhm.
I'll give it on the flip side of they do already live together. Ryan has had to pick up all the pieces, and a piece of paper isn't going to change the level of commitment that they already have gotten themselves into by cohabitating. So I just think that, like I said, I don't see any reason to rush the wedding. You can wait until your son is out of the military, boot camp. Like you could do it next year. You could easily do it next year in my mind. It doesn't have to be this like pressure of whatever. But at the same time, like I said, I already, like I said before, I appreciate the fact that when she does say to her daughter later, I want to show you a healthy partnership with somebody that actually likes to be around me, I get the sense that they are definitely like each other's company.
I'm sorry, like what?
Like each other's company.
Oh, yes,
And
yes.
I appreciate that. Like, and then she can talk to him about stuff, and he has, to me, he has engaged answers. You know what I mean? Like when Jen told
Mhm.
him about how Shannon had lost it with Tamara, and he goes, "Well, it sounds to me like Shannon like gave it a good shot, but has boundaries and said that's it." And I was like, Ryan, that's a very astute observation.
I was thinking that same thing,
Yeah.
and when they were talking, I said,
Mm-hmm.
"This is a really good,
Mm-hmm.
healthy relationship." I mean, or at least a healthy conversation that has depth and meaning, and they're not just all lovey-dovey and talking and looking all over each other, looking
Yeah.
looking at each other with lust. I appreciated seeing them interact in this way. I liked everything that they said. It was really
Yeah.
honest and something that, you know, it was just different from what, like I said, we need thank you for the balance. Thank you for the balance.
Well, what I also appreciate is that you have two people that really don't like Tamara. I mean, Tamara has dog walked Ryan almost as bad as she's dog walked Slade, right? Like, especially when so I can understand why Ryan feels deep loathing towards Tamara. However, what I feel like is different between Slade and Ryan is, although Ryan is cheesy, I feel like Ryan is actually giving Jen emotionally intelligent answers that don't have a ton of ego in it, right? Like, I think he's able to look at the situation, and because he doesn't like Tamara, he's on Shannon's side. Like, she gave it a shot, and the Tamara went too far, and she held her boundary. I was like, he has given emotionally intelligent answers to Jen more than one time. So I tend to give Ryan a bit of the benefit of the doubt in terms of these things, because I want to make it really clear. Although I think Ryan is cheesy as hell, there's a lot of cheesy as hell white, or like SoCal dudes. I think he's Armenian. Anyway, whatever. His type hath no race, no ethnicity. That are like kind of cheesy but also good dudes. Like, the two can exist. Like, I think he can also have been a serious playboy and then decide that this meal ticket with this really hot lady that he that he likes being with, and make a decision to make a commitment and stay out of trouble, and then maybe, 10 years from now, do we hear that like someone went in his DMs and he was stupid? That wouldn't surprise me either. You know what I mean? It could go either way. But what I do like about Ryan is that he seems to understand. Like, Eddie just always looks annoyed when Tamara tries to talk to him about this stuff. Like, Eddie just always looks like, I don't want to talk about this, I don't care about these ladies, whatever, whereas Ryan seems like he's genuinely like invested in this situation. He is the partner that Jen can go to talk about this legitimately.
Yeah, I think Ryan is playing his position. He knows where his bread is buttered, and the fact that, we've discussed this. He likes the camera. He likes attention, period. And being on TV is even better. He gets more exposure. He likes he likes himself in the mirror. But most importantly, I believe that he wants their relationship to win. He wants Jen to win. And it looks better for him and them that they don't always talk about their enemies in such an egregious way. Slade and Gretchen, on the other hand, they got history and they have a score to settle. And we're going to talk about that later, y'all. That's how I feel the difference between them two. It's only obvious by just the conversations that are being had and how it's being said, and pretty much, it blatantly said, I feel away, and I want some get back. It is what it is.
11/11, everybody on the West Coast, make a wish.
What it do? Blessings to everybody.
No, Ryan is playing his position, and I respect it. I like a man that can, like, I like someone that can appreciate what they've got. You know what I mean? You can like attention. Lord knows he dresses like he does. You can like attention. You can like all this stuff. It's fine. Be a cheese, be a ham. Just be good to your partner, and we're good.
Now, speaking of we're good, child, Lord, Tamara tells Eddie about, Tamara is, okay, so pretty much they're all back, of course, they're all back from their overnight and everything. And Tamara leads in with Eddie. Lord Jesus, my mouth. Tamara is telling Eddie about things going on, but first she kind of discusses, Sophia touring school and everything, and how proud they are of her. And I'm glad for her. Then,
oh yeah,
Here we go, Tamara. She is just so oblivious to how inappropriate it was for her to discuss Shannon's father or even bring him up. It's when you're not in a good place with someone, you have to tread lightly, but it is what it is. So, she, meaning Tamara, tells a story to Eddie about Shannon, being angry and everything about her dad. And of course, Eddie sees it as Shannon just, not being true to herself and how she needs to come to grips with everything. First of all, that's none of your business. It's really not, but he's backing his wife up because of how the story was told to him.
Yes. I don't think he likes Shannon. If you look at how he reacts to Tamara complaining about Shannon throughout the years, Eddie always is like, well, she's just a lot. She's hysterical. I think he doesn't like that Shannon would call Tamara crying and drunk, and Tamara would give her hours. But that's Tamara's codependency. Like, you also have to take responsibility for also how much you give to someone. It's really not cool to be friends with someone and support them to the point that you go so far past your own personal boundaries, like, giving them time that you don't have, or feeling really resentful of the amount of support that you offer without saying something, because that friend has no idea that you're feeling that resentful. And you expecting somebody to just magically know that you've gone beyond your limit of something, your tolerance of something, is not Shannon's job. So maybe Shannon was a lot, but there needed to be a point where you just get off the phone, where you don't, maybe like, where you let her know, like, you need whatever boundaries you need to put in place, where it's like, you can't call me at 2 a.m, or don't pick up the phone, like all that kind of crap. I'm so tired of you talking about how hard Shannon is to be friends with. You need to stop giving things to people that you're going to pull, like you're going to throw in their face later. So I feel like Eddie is constantly like, oh, Shannon's just a lot. Like, that's just the way it is. Although I will say it was really interesting to hear him say, like, I can accept Shannon, right? I feel like he also just knows Shannon is what Shannon is, when he says it later. Like, because you remember when they were talking later about the party they're going to have, and he's like, is Shannon coming over? And he was like, I can deal with that, Like Gretchen, on the other hand, they're like, no, that bitch ain't coming, kind of thing.
Okay. He was like, you want to move on with Gretchen? Because, of course, Terrence talked about the Gretchen piece, and he's like, you want to move on with Gretchen? And then he warned her about, nah, girl, wrong road.
Yeah, because Gretchen and Slade went after Eddie being gay, and they, like the foursome have gone low with one another.
Child.
Although I guess Eddie is the only one that stayed out of the mud, because he's not on social media dissing anybody.
No, he ain't ever. He ain't.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
But that was a cute little so-called telling of the tales. But yeah, it was really Tamara telling her truth and not the truth.
Well, and she brought up the dad's drinking again. It's like you're double violating. You're double violating. You're now bringing it up again, even though Shannon really didn't want that brought up on camera.
Like, hello.
She was trying to protect her 96-year-old father from being called an alcoholic on international television.
I mean, duh. That's what I mean by oblivious. Yeah. You don't have a great relationship or not even a good relationship with someone. But regardless of that, even if you were best buds, if this was Heather, you would not bring that up. Just consider everything. The man got one foot on a banana peel. Ain't nobody got time to be trying to deflect or take the heat off of their elderly parent or loved one because you wanted to say something to prove a point.
Yes.
Of sorts. And like Tamara said, she was upset. she feels like Shannon needs to see it all and not just, it's not up to you to make Shannon see anything. Support her. And I just don't think Tamara knows how to be a good friend or a good person at this time. She just doesn't.
It speaks to your point precisely of that you're not trying to be friends with Shannon if you are going to bring up her father's drinking problem yet again to justify why what you did was okay. You are exposing someone else's truth for the show. It doesn't matter if Shannon told you and it's true. You are choosing for Shannon how her father's reputation is exposed and damaged on a show without her consent. Friends don't do that. Friends don't do that. People on a show that don't care about their relationship with one another probably do that, as they do, and we see that all the time. Shannon also has said, my father and I have repaired our relationship. And from what we've seen on the show, he doesn't look like he's necessarily struggling with that drinking problem at the moment. So it really does now become Shannon's choice about what she shares to the world about the situation. And whether or not it's accurate is irrelevant. And that's what makes Tamara a dickhead.
And I thought he was in his early 80s. 96?
Yeah,
That man looks good to be to be so-called having a drinking problem. I'm just saying, because listen, we've all seen what drinking problems look like. At age 40, they looking like they looking. But for whatever it is, for whatever he's done or not done, the man looks good.
Tamara just feels like she has a right to talk about Shannon drinking and Shannon in any way she wants. And the point is that if you're going to do that, you cannot turn around and expect to have a close friendship with Shannon. It goes over to what Emily said, to what Heather agreed with, to what many people are now saying. Take this as the truth that it is. Nobody trusts you with really super intimate information because you violate it. And then you go, what? What did I do? What's true? Well, I was just trying to be helpful. Like, you always have an excuse. And instead of understanding the fallout you're causing by running your mouth, you just turn around and justify why you did it.
And one thing is, has Tamara apologized for taking Shannon out drinking after last year?
Nope. Did she tell Eddie she did that? I've seen that we're missing that part where
I'm just
she's like,
curious because
yeah.
It's one thing, but maybe she doesn't see anything wrong with it because she says that's her love language, which is totally inappropriate to say that about someone who you think has a drinking problem.
Right? I was like, yeah, that's like saying, yeah.
I think maybe that should be the next thing Tamara does, if not already. I see that was wrong of me to do. Just make that part right. But then that would mean she would have to admit being wrong and really have to own it. I don't think she knows how to own it yet. Maybe her and Lisa Rinna need to have a little tete-a-tete.
Right? Because Lisa Rinna could just bow down when she had to just, you know what I mean? Lisa Rinna, I'm not saying she necessarily changed much, but she would own it. She'd take a knee. She would. She would go, I was wrong. I'm sorry. It didn't mean she wasn't going to do it to you again, but that's a whole other housewife,
I'm just saying, I think that'll be a great conversation to see on camera because I want to be there, if not to be on a fly on the wall. You know how Zeus has the conversation?
Yeah.
That would be epic for if, in fact, Rinna breaks Tamara down so that Tamara can understand the error of her ways.
Well, it's funny because I know she's still friends with Teddy. I would be very curious if Lisa went on 2 T's in a pod and maybe was able to talk to her frankly about it. I would catch that interview.
If anybody listening, watching, listening over there, hook this up, please, and give us some credit. Thank you.
Right? But I do think Lisa refused to be filmed during Kyle's daughter's wedding for the show, and she's declined the invitation to BravoCon. So I think Lisa is being very strategic about what she does with interacting with Bravo.
Oh,
So so I'm not sure how willing she would be to do something like that. It's just my speculation. However, what what it goes back to is Tamara hasn't even apologized to Shannon for saying I won't drink in front of you, and then showed up half cockeyed on a Xanax and alcohol, and then showed up to her room with wine. Like, we're just that's the part that makes me really annoyed with Bravo, because it's like the level to which you're playing in our faces. You're showing us the scene where Tamara says she will not drink, and then Tamara is showing up with alcohol, and we're not making sure that like we kick her down. Like, there's no confrontational scene where the accountability, I mean, the one that she had with Gina was somewhat satisfying, but there needs to be like a way. Gina better get Tamara at the reunion about drinking. Like, someone needs to, somebody who has a leg to stand on, because Tamara saying I didn't drink this season is a lie. Tamara has so many times, called out Shannon's drinking and then done the opposite. And I find it really, really egregious.
well, y'all, I'm glad you said egregious as the last thing you said, because now you know how Bravo likes to go back and forth. Talk about this, talk about that. The
Yep.
last thing that Tamara and Eddie discussed with Gretchen, because Eddie was so was taken aback at hearing how his wife wanted to move on with the devil as they see her.
Oh yeah.
So the egregious thing now, Gretchen, you my girl, you my girl, but another you are terribly mistaken. I've learned to say terribly mistaken. My dad taught me, you don't want to tell people they're liars, to say you're terribly mistaken about X, Y, and Z. So, Gretchen, girl, you are terribly mistaken about bringing up Tamara in the booth. Now, we've heard this only been the second, maybe the second episode, right, of us discussing in detail. Now, again, they're going back and forth between scenes, and so now they're with Gretchen and Slade. They sent their daughter off to wherever she was going. I don't know if it was school or the park or whatever. And they're talking about what transpired on their overnight. And my girl Gretchen is talking to her man Slade about the whole thing with, bringing up Tamara, and blames him for bringing up the conversation about her in the booth and her possibly doing something else in the booth and it being recorded. No, Gretchen, you brought that up in the car, mamas, when
Yeah.
they were discussing going karaoke. You said, I wonder if they're going to play my song. And then it came to the point where, oh yeah, because Tamara tried to sing too when she was screwing so and so,
Yes.
and insinuated or did not correct Emily when Emily mentioned Tamara being married at the time, or maybe production played it that way. You know how they like to stop tape and then cut off to make it seem like she didn't say anything. So I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. Semicolon, however, comma. In this thing, Gretchen, you said to Slade, which made him apologize. And that was not how the course of it. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, friend. Am I correct?
Exclamation point correct. Terribly correct. Terribly correct. Okay? Because
egregiously correct.
yes, because she said and I quote, they were like, oh my God, you have a recording? Yeah, when she was banging bleep, bleep, bleep. So they bleeped out. She said banging that dude. So that led them to go, wait, what? And then that was when they were like, she was like, yeah, she was banging so and so. And they called Slade to corroborate that she had indeed been sleeping with the guy. Slade is then the one that put extra nasty sauce on it, saying that there was some recording somewhere. And then Gretchen was worried because now it's wild horses. You know what I mean? Like it's just run off the track. But Gretchen absolutely said, yeah, she was banging so and so when she recorded this song and sounded terrible. So yeah, that was bad, Gretchen. You jumped the shark. Like, you know what I mean? Like you have fallen off the victim track and you are now firmly in the mud, baby girl. Hate to break it to you, and you knew it. And you knew it. And you knew it by the way you reacted and tried to make it Slade's fault. That's funny. Because listen, Slade made it sleazy and bad. He did. There is not some recording. Get out of here. Like, no. Like, that's sleaze. But we also know Slade's not above that. They keep flashing back to his stand-up where he was like really disgusting. And I'm like, yeah, Slade has it in him. We should never forget.
Yeah, it's always murky waters when we see a guy doing get back on a girl.
Yeah.
It's just
grimy.
And it's, listen, no matter what patriarchy, matriarchy, any atriarchy, it's just not cute. It's not becoming of this dude talking trash about a woman, especially when, I don't know, it's just murky. It's just
stay out of women's business, Peter Slade. No, it's grimy because Slade is like
grimy, yes.
I get that Slade is pissed off. He's really mad at Tamara for the way that she went after him being a piece of crap father. But the thing is that, like, I'm sorry, you abandoned that child. Like, there is truth to what went down. And Gretchen hasn't married you because of the debts you accrued with that child, the medical bills, like all of that stuff. Like, that's why she didn't marry you. You can't tell me there's any other reason. She didn't want to take on your financial burdens. And then now everybody's going like, what kind of job do you have? So you just come off like a sleaze. And that's why you need to stay out of women's business. I know you think you produced the beginning of Orange County, and really, let's be real, he was a character on that season. Like, Joe was interesting because Slade was such a piece of work, But he needs to just calm down. But he never will because he's Slade Smiley.
Girl. And we're gonna hear a little more about him later. But now we got a little different tune, right? Jen takes her daughter. What's her name? Emily or Sophie? I couldn't
No, Sophie Shannon. I think it's Evie.
Evie, because I kind of heard Emily and so okay.
I think it's like Evelyn and they call her Evie. That's my assumption. Okay. I don't know. Because normally you'd say Evie, but it's Evie.
Okay. So Jen takes her daughter Evie to get facials where Jen gets hers. And I forgot what age she is, but her skin is so why are you touching it? I'm sorry. I understand. I hope it's really mild and not, anything that would, it was just, she has like baby skin. It's just so beautiful. And she's a really pretty girl. She may take after her dad. Just think, well, listen, I have a lot of unpopular opinions, y'all. It is what it is. That's I think she takes after her dad in that way. Because she doesn't look like
No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't. Yeah, that's not unpopular. No, she looks like she favors the other parent. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've seen his picture of him, I don't remember, but just by them side by side, oh, she must take after the dad. Like, hey, Shells. Yeah, so they went to the facial place and then they start talking about school and boys and stuff, and how um, Jen wants to be remarried. And earlier, when we were discussing the conversation with Jen and Ryan, and how um, and it was just refreshing to hear them talk in that way, because it's just been so much mess going on. But when I mentioned how she talks with her daughter in this scene, and how she describes wanting a partner, I thought it was so appropriate. It was so honest, to ease her daughter's tension, because her daughter is mourning the end of her parents. And but she's happy for her mom. She likes Ryan. It's all good. But, she's emotional about it. And maybe there's something else she may not be discussing. But at the same time, she's a kid. So Jen wants to be, have that. I'm pretty sure Jen talked with her some more, and she may have discussed or divulged something more about her feelings. But I know for you, it was a tearjerker. For me, I was like, okay, cute. But
No, I just felt, well, because like honestly, I think there's like it goes to what you were saying. Like, I think there's emotions that poor little girl hasn't even gotten in touch with yet. I think her body was crying and her little mind didn't even maybe know why. Like, I just think they're moving too fast. I think they could give these kids a break, give them a beat, let them adjust to living with him. They got evicted out of their home. I just feel like, and then they it took a while for them to feel like Ryan was place was home. I just think that all of this like monumental change is stressing those kids out. And you're seeing it in more subtle ways. The way that Dawson ran off to the military, the way that this little girl is starting to cry. I know she wants to be happy for her mom, and like, I just think it's a lot of pressure. And I don't, and at the same time, I do think that it was a very good response from Jen to be like, I want to show you a healthy partnership. And like you were saying, like I respected the answer she gave her. I just, it made me feel a lot of emotions for that poor little girl. Like, I just feel like they need a minute. Y'all can just hold on a second.
I agree, because you never know with kids, because like you said, they're not totally in touch with their emotions, or even may know how to express them, or even
Mm-hmm.
say what's on their mind. So I agree. They could be moving too fast. And sometimes us as parents make decisions for the house that we sometimes don't consider the children involved, because we know what's right for the house. But I don't think parents actually include their children's thoughts and everything into the decisions they make for the house. So you could be spot on about that, you know.
Well, or I agree with your point. I think sometimes what it goes to is, I know this is emotionally impacting you, but it's like you're going to have to adjust. You know what I mean? Sometimes parents make choices where it's like, for the good of the household, we're moving forward this way, right? And so like we're going to have to like patch you up as we go along. I just feel like I said, I just don't think you need a wedding right this second. I think you need to still let everybody adjust to cohabitating, you know,
Yeah.
and because like I said, the respectability quotient, that's already out the window. Like if you really want to care about that crap, like y'all cheated and left your husband and got evicted and moved in with him. That's pretty a scandalo. Just let it be, just give it a second. A wedding a year from now isn't going to change anything. But I thought it was a night. And also I'd like to just say I feel for her, because I bet you there was, whether I don't believe Jen placed it on her, but I think there's a pressure to come off a certain way on camera too. I just felt for her. She just seemed like, it just seemed like a bit of a vulnerable moment for her, and I felt for her.
Yeah, but she's really cute, and I hope
Yes.
that it all works out, and she stays a child, as long as possible. And I really love seeing Jen with her. It made me think of Jen differently because I think Jen is kind of like an airhead, but to
Hmm.
see her with her children, she obviously loves them to death. She adores her children, and yeah, I really I love seeing how I don't know. I'm just so, I guess because I'm a nurturer, by definition, and it just comes natural to me. I love to see parents dote on their children, and I can tell Jen is like that.
Yeah, but man, Jen, you need to stop the Ozempic. The thing I couldn't get over is they're doing a facial and Jen's face looks so skinny. It's like
Girl.
crazy. Oh, Lord, it's just painful. And look, I realize it's a bit tacky to comment on bodies, but like I just want to continue to put it in the into the commentary that like we are in a trend where like scary thin is in right now, and like I would personally am gonna fight to continue to see healthy bodies, either on either end. So some of you ladies is like it's looking terrifying.
Yeah, just be healthy. Even if you're
Yeah,
taking meds or whatever, just make sure
yeah,
the balance is there, and just pay attention so that you're looking your best, because
yeah,
that's
because
obviously what you want to do anyway.
it's getting a little dried out, like anyway.
Well, now we down to the nitty, child. Now
Mm.
this was what we've been waiting for, because child, like I said, they brought up some up teen-year old, thought it was buried. Now they brought that to the surface. But I just want to point something out real quick, y'all. You see this picture? What do you see that's a little abnormal about what's going on here? Now, this is where this was, what's her name? Gretchen's event, where she invites all the ladies to self defense and tactical training. Because while they were at, I forget what scene this was or where they were, but Shannon admitted to having a stalker and someone harassing her, and also to Gretchen experienced a stalker as well. And she thought it would be a good idea that all of the ladies develop or enhance their self defense skills, because they're out night, day, early mornings, whatever time. And she just would like, all the ladies to feel more comfortable with defending themselves just in case, and just, learning certain techniques. But if you could just, I know and I want you to point out which one of these don't belong here.
The way I would have wrapped that braid, that fishtail, around my fist to grab Gretchen by the throat after some people scared me, I you need to be scared now. You need to be unsure of what I'm going to do, because if you are going to destroy my nervous system for your own fun, I'm going to take this stupid ass outfit that you planned, because nobody gets hair like that unless they are going to go for that look. I mean, she looks great in it. There are very few women that could pull off something like that. Kudos to you, Gretchen. You look amazing in that skin tight little outfit, but you also look a goddamn fool. And I would whip you around by that braid after you tried to scare me with that shit. I know we're doing self-defense, but like no, I don't consent to being afraid that I'm going to be assaulted, because you don't know what kind of trauma people have had with that stuff.
Okay. You ran my girl down to the ground, but we all have our opinions about things. I'm gonna let that go. But I do agree with the hair, like, no, girl. But I was thinking of the woman standing to her left, our right. Why would you bring Christian Dior?
Oh.
$5,700 retail bag. People got no bags, no purse. People got, what's that Tamara got on? A pouch. Well, you look like the most out of place. And that's my girl now. But girl, you brought the Dior with you. Okay, I got it. I thought
Who,
I was.
Heather? I thought Heather was funny. I like listen, I honestly identified with Heather the most with shit like this, where she's like, I'm not participating. Remember the slip and slide shit? She said no thank you. No,
Exactly.
I genuinely love it when Heather's like, no, I'm not, I can afford security. I'm not doing this. Like, I just appreciate when she's true to herself, where she's like, fuck that shit. I love it. And she's a rich bitch. Bring that Dior. I think Gretchen looked like a tool. Like, no, I mean, she looked great, but Gretchen was the one that stood out as the joke. That's like you said, where we diverge at times. But like, I thought Heather was funny on this. She's like hugging the little. I mean, you don't want to disrespect the people that are trying to contribute
Yeah.
in a scene with them. Like, I don't like it when you're disrespectful to the people that are trying to, to play along with you. And I do believe in self-defense. I do. So I don't think what Gretchen decided was necessarily the bad idea. I just have been attacked before, so like, if you did that to me, you would be bringing up some trauma that, like, I just wouldn't appreciate it. There's just no, I would not. I'm like, you don't need to be putting my nervous system back into a state of fight or flight. So no, thank you. But I would have appreciated, like, how they had the gun simulate. I mean, I would have been down to try the things.
Okay, so we all need to be aware of how we present, especially situations that we're in, so that we are sensitive to everyone's, or possibly everyone's situation. But yeah, it was a bit much to come in there as Lara Croft Tomb Raider, when that has nothing to do with self-defense or
But
tactical.
she looked, I have to admit though, like, honestly, every time I was laughing at her, I was like, there are not many women that can wear a bodysuit like that. She looked great. Like, I have to
She
give
does.
Gretchen that. I
Mhm.
do. I do. She looks ridiculous half the time in her little, like, outfits, but like, she pulls them off because she looks good. Like, I really do
Yeah.
appreciate Gretchen is like kept an amazing figure. She looks put together. It's not necessarily my thing, but I have to give Gretchen that.
Now, the one thing that was kind of funny also, when she invited the ladies, Emily and Heather arrived first, and she was going to play a couple of practical jokes on the rest of the ladies. Tamara and who was in Tamara and who was in the thing with
Gina.
Gina and Tamara pulled up, and they had this guy that works for the company that they're in now come out and pretend like he's going to carjack them. They both got scared, and then he, before they got too afraid, he let them know that it was just, simulation. And then once Jen and Shannon rolled up, Shannon was more or less like skeptical, about all of this, and Jen was she was not as she was bothered, but because Shannon was in between her and the scary dude, she wasn't that bothered. So they both all four of them came in like, what is going on? Like, why are you trying to scare us? So the whole point is, you never know. Now, for me, I carry stuff on me, so he probably would have had to go to the hospital. I'm just saying. But then again, if we're filming, they might not allow me to have certain. Now, I'm not talking about anything that'll put you down, but I have liquid things I carry with me at all times. So I would have had that on ready. First of all, why is your window down?
Yeah. Well, the driver who was in on it, that's what she did. She put the window down because Shannon talked about it in the after show, actually. Shannon said that she kind of like when they pulled up, it wasn't like a typical shot where they show them driving up. That's why she was like, why is the window down? You're going to ruin the shot of us pulling up. Because if you think about it, every time they pull up in a car, you never see the window down. Like that's just not a normal arrival scene. So Shannon was already like, why is the window down and why are you not like pulling up to the door? Like it was just, they were already kind of doing weird shit. So, Shannon was funny. She said she had like a frozen, like at first, like a frozen reaction, and then she kind of was like, wait, this isn't real. So, like, I could kind of relate to that because, in a situation like that, it takes a minute for you to like take in the fact that somebody's like, are you really potentially attacking me right now? Like your brain, like whatever. So, anyway. I just would have, especially to find out that not everybody had to go through that. I would have given Gretchen a piece of my mind.
And speaking of piece of my mind, child, they got into it. Okay, so they break up in teams. They have Jen, Emily, and Tamara. They go to shooting practice. And then after all that, they discuss their trips. And Emily, of course, tattles on Gretchen and Slade. And Tamara goes a little berserk because Emily says about the so-called song in the booth. And then she goes berserk and she's just like, I can't believe this girl. Then the other ladies, Heather, Gretchen, and Gina, they go and Shannon do self-defense. And of course they discuss, their overnights and everything. And the one thing I didn't like was, and I knew Gina would take this stance. She didn't see how Shannon should have gotten upset because she was just, meaning Tamara was just sharing things about what they talked about. That's kind of weird for Gina to take that approach. But then again, I can see that in Gina. I just don't think, for the most part, I think Gina favors Tamara over Shannon. I don't see how, as many different vulnerable situations, I just don't understand why Gina wouldn't see Shannon's point in all of this.
I agree. There is some weird favoritism to Tamara. I think she gets annoyed by Shannon. I don't know if like there's some like underlying bias of like how for a long time Tamara and Gina didn't get along because of things that Shannon's. I don't know, but I agree with you. I think expecting Shannon to get over what Tamara does to her is unfair to the the long-standing friendship and like the way that Tamara treated Shannon last season. So it's weird because like I do understand that like I don't think Tamara straight up said, oh, here's an opportunity for me to humiliate Shannon's father. I think that Tamara carelessly does shit like that because she wants to be able to say whatever she wants for the show and then doesn't take accountability when somebody says, no, that wasn't cool. That's where it's a problem. So I think Tamara is too reckless. I think that, but if Tamara could at least apologize and understand that what she did was wrong, I could live with it better.
The only thing I disagree with was the rationale regarding what Tamara did. I think that she's trying to prove to Shannon that she has a family history and she needs to take ownership and own it. So I'm going to bring this up to remind you of where you get it from. And that's not friendship.
No, and I agree that could totally be part of it. I agree with you that, like, you know what I mean? Like, I think that is a legitimate speculation. I really do.
Mm-hmm. Because she's so upset about it, and even how she told it to Eddie. It's like, I just mentioned this, and she goes berserk. Like, bitch, you don't see why she went berserk on you?
There's multiple reasons. Not only that, but like, it doesn't matter what you all think. Shannon doesn't necessarily want to wear the yoke of your designation yet. And it's her drinking problem. So she can figure that one out.
Now, if they were starting to discuss how bad of a parent she is and how, you know what I'm saying, if they want to go there and to tie it into how much you're pouring into this one we see and how less, you know, I'm just saying if they go that route, she would be even more, you know, berserk on TV. So, but the fact that they know better, she should know better too, especially since she's the so-called OG of the OC at this point, you know.
Yeah. I guess it, you know, ultimately, aunties and unks, it's, you know, what is the true motivation for Tamra's dangerous mouth? Because no matter what, it is dangerous.
I mean, just trying to teach people a lesson when you still in school is just fun. Just funny.
Yeah.
Girl,
yeah.
bye. What else happened, child?
Well, you know, I don't know if we're on this part yet, but like when Emily is letting Tamra know what was said about her during the sleepover, I really think Heather got a disservice. It was not fair. Heather stood up for Tamra. Heather did not back down. Heather said, I don't want to hear about that other stuff. That's gross. Like, she didn't. And I don't think that was properly represented. And that was annoying. I don't think that was fair.
Well, that's what these ladies do. They tell their truth and not the truth.
Emily did like a Heather from Salt Lake City, where it's like, I'm going to bring you the mess, but I'm not going to like give an accurate portrayal of some of the other players.
And Emily didn't say how she wouldn't trust Tamra with any vital intel because Tamra would use it later. Did she say that? No.
Sure didn't. Nope.
Just like how Heather caught her. Well, what did you say about me?
Yep.
Then she kind of looked, yeah, say what you said.
No.
Just say what you said, Emily.
I really respected the way Heather reacted in that situation. I would have probably reacted similarly, like drunkenly, like, let me hear Tamra singing like a dumbass because that's funny. But then when it's starting to get into, oh, they boned and, oh, there's a recording of it, like, this is gross. I don't want to listen. No, Slade, shut up. Unless you have proof, like, and then now you're dropping a bombshell. I don't want to hear the dirty rumors. Shut up.
Now, speaking of shutting up, child, now this is where it really got explosive. Yep. So after them, excuse me, bringing everybody else up to speed on their trips, they all gathered together for some direct target shooting. Of course, Tamara's the best, so they all say, well, she's a sharpshooter with her mouth. So, of course, she would be that way with something in her hand. You know, that made me think about shooting, and it's really fun to do.
I was gonna say some people like to go shooting. It just doesn't surprise me that she's done it and is a good shot.
And you know, it is what it is. But Tamara got bold, and now this is where you may find me funny. I agree with Tamara in this instance because, as we've been pointing out, Gretchen has been terribly mistaken these last couple of episodes. And after Emily running, tattletelling on Gretchen, Tamara immediately, before they can reach over and get their drink to pour down their throat, Tamara is on Gretchen's ass, baby. And she's like, I heard you had a lot to say. You know, after drinking Fireball. Who drinks Fireball during the day? I'm just questioning.
And out the little bottle like that. Ooh, it makes me want to throw up just thinking about it. It's like,
Gretchen, you tell on yourself, girl. What you been doing? What you been doing?
It's like doing shots of Goldschlager or some shit.
Girl, you didn't have no stamps. What's going on?
Oh.
But I did like the spread, you know, a big old charcuterie board situation.
I love a charcuterie board. I do.
Okay, I'm gonna get one this weekend, girl.
I love it. is
Oh, that
totally
reminds me. We need to talk later. Anyway,
uh,
Tamra. Look, I got my notes, child. Look at my notes. So Tamra pretty much got it started. Gretchen played coy about, the whole being confronted, but I accept. I'm with Tamra in this moment because
yeah.
Tamra's trying to ask her what you said, and Gretchen don't really want to say. No, no, no. This is your time, Gretchen. You missed your mark. This was your chance to say what you needed to say to make your mark and not hold back talking about I know something about you, but it'll be too much to say. No, no, no. Don't bring the thing out if you ain't gonna use it.
Well, you already have brought the thing out. You're bringing them out in these little moments. Like you brought the thing out.
And then my girl blamed Emily and Slade for most of the mess. No, you
I
started
know.
it. You
She sure
started it
did.
and then
Sure
lied and
did.
said that, you just brushed over the fact that, telling the story to Tamara that you said after being asked about what happened in the booth that you was bonking so and so for beats or whatever the case is, or making it seem like that was going on in the booth. And I'm like, girl, Gretchen, did you forget the lie, or did or are you just trying to just? I don't know. I don't get it. To me,
She
it just seems like she was
literally
lying. Go ahead, girl. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I talked over you.
No, no,
She
we do, girl.
because we feel well, we both feel passionately. She literally opened up that story. Tamara
Yes,
singing like a drowned rat when she was banging so and so. Like she literally they all asked, when did she record a song? When she was banging so and so. That was the introduction into the story. Second line out of your mouth, Gretchen. You didn't have that information come out later. You opened with that, which is why the can of worms went as far as they did. If
girl.
you hadn't have said that Tamara was banging so and so, Slade wouldn't have said anything about the recording or whatever. The only thing that Emily and Heather wanted to hear was Tamara singing like an idiot because everybody would like to make fun of Tamara that way.
Mm-hmm.
And so for you to act like you didn't start all of this because you uh ran your mouth is crazy. And then you threw your husband or your partner under the bus like
Girl,
you don't have any responsibility for him.
front tire, back tire.
Right? I'm like, so, and that's the thing. It's like you obviously knew enough about that rumor because you brought up that Tamara was banging him. And like, listen, Tamara is a lot of things, but two things can be true at the same time. And Tamara had every right to come after you because you all said a slimy, stupid rumor. And then you actually tried to sit there and say, I had so much fun and I messed up and I was hoping in the spirit of get out of here. Get out of here. That is so crazy for you to even act like you could expect them not to say something.
I appreciate people on this show, these housewives, but just like how Kenya fumbled her bag by not playing the victim and trying to bring up something that backfired, had Kenya
Totally.
just continued to play the victim from that scene when they were out and all those threats were made against her, if she would just continue to play the victim as we know she can do, she would have stayed on that show and the other girl would have been gone. I truly believe that was the fumble. Just like now, I believe Gretchen is fumbling this bag. Had she and Slade came in a lot less greasy and slimy, they would have looked better in the eyes of their castmates, in the eyes of us. But like I said, Gretchen's my girl now. Don't get me wrong. But every dog has their day. I just think that Gretchen and Slade are playing this wrong. They're
Thank
coming in
you.
way too hot. Of course, they have two axes to grind, but they should have been a lot more strategic with all of this because it's backfiring because the lies are being exposed every other scene at this point.
Fumbled bad, because I 100% agree with you. Everything you said is the truth. And we need to be calling him Slade Slimy from now on, because really nobody had any, like, everybody was remembering how naked wasted and all of that kind of crap. So everybody would have stayed on Gretchen's side if they hadn't have literally twice got caught with their pants down so bad. Like, it wasn't even just bringing up some legitimate rumors. It was, I misspoke. And then, like, oh, I hope you wouldn't bring. No, these are two instances where you went low and you got, and it just, you fumbled, like you said. You never should have gone this low, because you are showing us a caliber of character that we can't deny. We can't deny you lied. We can't deny you're spinning grease. We can't deny that you are playing in the mud just as dirty as Tamra. And so, you know, it makes it, as you like to call it, a tete-a-tete. You know?
Just saying, a tete-a-tete, yes.
A mano-y-mano, you know, like equally yoked.
I just have one last thing to say about this. Did you notice what Gina said to Gretchen? Like, why are you talking shit about Tamara? She wasn't talking shit about you. Did you hear Gina say that?
Oh, here's something I need to bring up too. Yes, I did, which is crazy. But also, now Jen's standing up.
Who?
Jen. Did you hear what?
Hey, you noticed that too, right?
Now you're standing up. I'm like, okay, you had nothing for Katie. You threw Katie up under the bus, as Alexander Rogers likes to say. You had no help for Katie. Don't drag me into it. But you're gonna step out on a limb for Gretchen. Oh, I see. Your excuse that about anything, like, I see you, Jen. I see you. Let me put it that way. I saw you. I saw it.
That's what I'm saying. There's everybody getting exposed and they don't even know it.
I mean, you showed your true colors real clear to me by the way that you were willing to put. And listen, I get it. I could see in your hatred for Tamra. I could see Slade and Ryan and Gretchen and Jen are a little happy foursome. I get it. But girl, don't think we all didn't notice is that you finally decided to pipe up, even when you were getting along with Tamra.
Mm-hmm.
So,
again, if you're gonna pull it out, use it, because I'm on whatever you want. So let's go.
Right?
So Gretchen, girl, enough of this. You too old to be playing games. You too old. Leave them games for your daughter and the rest of them kids on that show. You is grown AF, so we gonna need you to talk grown. And if you got something, use it. If you're gonna bring it out, use it. Don't be playing around, and because it just makes you look like punk puss.
Punk puss.
Come on now, you my girl now. Be grown. Listen, be as grown as you was against Vicky as you are against Tamara. Come on, that's what I'm waiting to see. I don't want to see no more punk puss.
Yeah. It's like, Gretchen, if you're gonna commit to, tit for tat, you got to be ready to throw some punches.
Yeah, we saw that cleavage. Show the rest.
Well, it's like, here's the thing. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. You chose to bring up a sleazy rumor about Tamra, and Slade put extra sleazy sauce on it. So you can't act like you're like altruistic now. You brought up and it's an example of the stupid rumors and nastiness, as Meredith would say. You already went there, so don't try to backpedal and pussy pop now. Just say what you know. You know, bring up what you know about her. She brought it up about you. She said some crazy stuff about you and some photos. And we know that Gretchen says they were photoshopped. And, you know, they brought up they resurrected the dead. They went to Bass Lake. They went to Bass Lake and they brought it all up.
The stuff that we've been saying this whole last 12 episodes. Remember this? Yeah, they brought all that up. I said she was cheating on Jeff with Slade.
Yep.
That's what I remember then. Don't be trying to change the narrative now. It is what it is. He dead and gone. Rest in peace. It is what it is.
Yep.
Anywho. That's it. That's all I got, child. What you got anything else?
No, we're just going to see where this takes us. But now we got 2 people in the ring. That's what we got.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yep.
And we're going to see what happens for lucky episode 13 next week. Ooh, child. Child. The conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Well, y'all, that was it. That's all we got. We ain't got no more for this episode 12. We appreciate you for coming through. And again, we did start a little early, so for those who missed the first maybe 15 to 20 minutes, go ahead and rewind, do that replay gang, and let us know what you think. Thanks again for the interaction in the chat. We love that. And thanks again for those who comment after the fact. We appreciate you too. And again, we talk to us, we talk back. It's all to the GOOD over here.
Yeah, shout out to our listener that's begun commenting, Replay Crew. I'm sorry I don't have your name right off the top of my head, but we'll shout you out next time if that works for Ray Ray.
Sure.
We appreciate you. Replay gang.
Yes. So before we go, please let us know where we can find you when you ain't talking mess with me over here.
You can find me on Facebook, Psychic Aaron Boyd, and Instagram and Threads, Psychic_ELB. Hit me up if you would like to get a reading. I do give a family and friends discount to the aunts and uncles.
And you know how we do. We do our New Year's resolutions. We do our end of the years, whatever. This will be a perfect time to get on the line with Aaron. I had a reading done. I appreciated it. And yeah, it's all GOOD. It's all good. So again, thanks. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and share. And we'll catch you next time. Bye, y'all. All day. All day. All day.